Hi, I'm Y, and I've had the 8BitDo retro mechanical keyboard for a while now, right? And so I thought it would be a great idea to make a video about it instead of my normal Sunday stream because I am busy this Sunday, right? However, I do stream every Sunday, right? So if you want, go ahead, check my channel. You can do a bunch of live streams, but yeah. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and get into the unboxing. So this is the keyboard box, right? It shows the keyboard on the top right here. And then if you go ahead and flip like here, you see the pictures, right? Some information about the keyboard, what's in the box, and some contact information. The bottom is blank. Both sides have this two-tone color, and this part right here just has the name. So let's go ahead and open it up. So you gotta grab it like that and just shake it. All right, that's the box. There's some nice foam pieces right here for packaging. And by the way, I had to repackage this since I've had this for 6 months. But yeah, this is what it should look like roughly. So then you get with the keyboard right at the start. All right, so we'll go ahead and take that out. I'm gonna go ahead and look at that later. Then you have some stickers. All right, and these are all for your super buttons. So you can go ahead and keep that wherever you want. We have the instruction manual right here. Okay, we have a cable right here. It's type C to type A with the 8BitDo cable branding on it. It's a rubberized cable, right? Let me see how long it is. It's a 1.8 meter cable. Okay, so I think that's roughly about 3 feet. Wait, no, that's like 6 feet. Yeah. All right. And the ends are a hard plastic. And then over here we have some information right here and the Windows shortcuts, right? These are just so you can like know what to program your super buttons with, which are right here. All right, so go ahead, you can take them out. All right, the wire is here. All right, these are a permanently attached wire, by the way, but this is a 3.5 millimeter audio jack that plugs into the keyboard. All right, and I actually did some testing on my own. I used a microbit and was able to actually successfully transmit signals to the keyboard to detect it. So theoretically, I could use a microcontroller and I could tilt or whatever and make a whole custom controller by plugging into the keyboard. Let's go ahead and take these super buttons out. All right, these are, they're not too light. They have some heft to them. They stay on your desk fairly well. Okay, it says B and A right here. Got 2 buttons right here, and yeah, and the cable is also pretty long, with the bottom being rubberized and just, yeah. Okay, let's get the keyboard out of the packaging. Just a little plastic wrap right here. Slide it right out. And here is the keyboard. It also has some heft to it, but it is a fully plastic construction, all right? But there is a aluminum plate inside. Now, this, you can't really open the keyboard, by the way, right? Because all the screws are hidden under these rubber feet right here. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the keyboard itself now. All right, so the keyboard here, right? Now, the very first thing I want to talk about is the keycaps. These are some very, very nice keycaps, all right? These are made out of PBT, so they're very, very durable, and they're going to last a long, long time, all right? And the printing on this is impeccable, all right? It's very, very high quality printing, all right? And I just love the design of these keycaps. These just look amazing. Now, over here, let's go ahead and talk about the switch. This is a tactile switch, right? And it has Bluetooth off and 2.4, all right? So off would be in wired mode, Bluetooth would mean just for Bluetooth, so you can pair that, and 2.4 would just be for your 2.4 gigahertz dongle. This is a volume knob. This is also tactile, all right? And I really, really like the feel of that. And you can take these off, by the way. Now, these ones you can't take off. This is a connection button, right? So this is for Bluetooth pairing, and that's about it. This is a star-shaped button, all right? You can use this to remap some keys like these B and A keys right here, or receive button. And this is your profile switch button, which is the heart-shaped button right here. Now you have this little like 8BitDo retro keyboard, little plastic bar right here, caps lock and scroll lock keys, which are actually white, unfortunately. I thought they were red, but these are white LEDs. And this power button is a red LED. All right, you can go turn on, flip it, and off, right? And so yeah, now over here, let's talk about the ports. So this is a USB-C port keyboard. I don't think I've ever actually used this keyboard wired except for like once or twice when I was trying to set it up originally. All right. We have ABXY ports right here. These are your super buttons plugins. So you get one set of super buttons here, like goes in your A port, and then you can connect up to 3 more super buttons here, and those are available on the 8BitDo website. And then you have your dongle right here. All right, you can just take it out. And just it's stored right here. All right. The thing I really like about this is it's magnetic. All right, so you can slide it in and just snaps right in. It's super satisfying. Now, one thing I really want to talk about is the feel of this keyboard, right? I've had this for half a year now, and I really like the feel of this keyboard, right? It feels super nice. It's very satisfying, right? The switches feel great, right? It's just like these are some really great switches, all right? And they sound great, but they are quite loud because these are Kale Box White V2 switches, which means they're very clicky, okay? But that's if you're into clicky switches, and these only come in clicky switches, right? I really like clicky switches because I like that tactile feel, and also want to be able to hear my keyboard. It has a very retro sounding feel as well. Some people might get annoyed by it, but I took this into my robotics team one time, and they saw it, and even though I'm not part of them anymore, right? They did really like this keyboard, right? It's a really nice keyboard, especially for the price of $100. Okay, I got this for sale on Amazon for like $90. So that was even a better deal. But yeah, what you're getting is really nice. And let's also talk about the super buttons right here. So this is how I normally use my keyboard, right? I have the keyboard here, super buttons here. These are like just like that, right? And have the wire going around to the side, right? And then I wrap this wire up over to my monitor and then back, right? It's over there right now. But for this video, I'm gonna keep it here. Now I have my A button mapped to Task Manager and B to Alt Tab, right? That's which one is really often, right? So instead of having to do Alt Tab every single time, I can just quickly tap that and just switches windows to my previous window, right? And Task Manager, because I use it that often because a lot of resources are being used up on my computer, pretty old, so I do like to have Task Manager handy. Now, since Copilot recently came out, I mapped this to Copilot, all right? So if I want to use the Windows Copilot feature, I can just press that, and it kind of serves as the Copilot keys on these newer computers. And then my A is just Control F, right? So I can just find things really easily because I do a lot of reading. I sometimes need to change things in my code pretty often. So this is what I use that for. Now let's go ahead and get into the sound test. All right, so this is recorded with the Pixel 8 microphone, and this is from 22 inches away. All right, and then these are the super buttons. It's also important to note that these are Kale Box White V2 switches, and these are Gateron Green switches. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and do a monkey type test. For context, I'm not a very fast or accurate typer, but here we go. So yeah, I mean, I did fumble on quite a few words, right? Again, just I'm not really monkey type much, right? And sometimes my hands and fingers don't do slip. I'm confused by reading different words at the same time, right? But yeah, 90 words per minute accuracy. It's not that bad, but also not that good for me. Normally, I used to be more around like 90% accuracy and then like closer to 100 words per minute. I don't know. But yeah, no, the keyboard is good. It's not limiting me in any way to type that fast. So yeah, now let's go ahead and talk about the features and what I feel like I've learned about this keyboard by using it for the past 6 months. Alright, so yeah, I've had this keyboard for a while now, and I really like it. This is a huge step up from my previous keyboard, right, which was just a normal, not normal, it was a mechanical keyboard, but it was like one of those really cheap ones, right? And before that, I used to have a membrane keyboard. So this is a really good keyboard. And my brother even has a GMMK Pro, and even that I feel like is worse than this keyboard. That's my personal preference, so that's not objectively better or worse, right? That's just my personal preference. And in terms of wireless connectivity, I've never had any problems with it disconnecting or anything like that, right? I feel like there's almost no latency. I've heard it's 1,000 Hz polling rate, right? So yeah, and yeah, it just seems completely fine, right? So there isn't like a great deal amount of input lag. There is no RGB, so if you are into RGB, don't buy this keyboard. I was originally gonna buy a different keyboard because this had no RGB, right? But I eventually settled on this one because I'm like, you know what, RGB doesn't matter that much, right? And yeah, and it does fit my room's aesthetic a lot more because I do have, you know, wooden table with my own wooden wrist rest, right? So this more like retro theme does fit this bit better. Battery life is amazing, right? Because there's no RGB or anything like that, it's great. I've had this keyboard for so long now, and I've only charged it like 3 or 4 times, and even then, it wasn't because it was like a low battery, right? It was just I just randomly charge it if I ever need to, and if there's a low battery, it'll be able to kind of flash the power button, the power light, I mean. So you can look at it that way. It's extremely useful. It's not too big, right? The height, the angle isn't adjustable. It's not adjustable, but I feel like the angle is actually perfect for me, right? And it just happens to be perfectly matching my keyboard, not keyboard, my wrist rest, right? And even without my wrist rest, I feel it. It feels perfectly fine to use. It's pretty natural to use. So I think this is a great keyboard. And yeah, so now we can go ahead and look at some analytics from LTT Labs, right? I didn't ask them or anything like that, right? But they do have their information up on the website. So I figured since they have this keyboard already tested, right, might as well kind of advertise LTT Labs a little bit and also kind of talk a bit more in depth about this keyboard. So yeah, this is a 7-degree angled keyboard, right? This is a fully plastic construction. The height is 4.7 centimeters. The maximum width is 37.4 centimeters, right? And the depth is 17 centimeters, right? And this weighs 148 grams according to LTT Labs. Now, these stabilizers are also plate mounted. The keycaps, again, as I mentioned, were PBT. And the Bluetooth version is Bluetooth LE, and does not have multi-device pairing. And their battery is obviously rechargeable. But there is also no USB pass-through. There is a 8BitDo's Ultimate Software V2 app, right? And I've used it. It's okay, right? But it does let you have slightly more advanced macros and everything. And you can have over 9 profiles, right? It has onboard memory, right? And all that kind of stuff. But this does not support QMK or VIA. And the app supports Windows, but not macOS. However, you can still program the macros with the buttons and instruction set. So the operating force of the keys are 42 grams GF, right? The bottoming out force is 51.1 GF, and the start force to start the travel is 38.3 GF. There's 2 millimeters of pre-travel and 4 millimeters of total travel, right? And the latency for wired has a max of 10.59 milliseconds, right? With a median of 9.33. The 2.4G receiver has a median of 11.67 with a max of 19.34. And the Bluetooth has a median of 14.4 with a max of 19.02, right? Not that huge a difference, so I feel like it's pretty good. And yeah, so I'll leave the LTT Labs website in the description, right? So you can go ahead and look at their data in a much more better view, right? Because they have sound tests, they have the graphs and all that kind of stuff, right? So go ahead, check out LTT Labs. I'm not affiliated with LTT in any sort of way. I just saw that they have this keyboard on the website, so I thought for more information, you guys can also look at them. And yeah. All right, one last thing, right? So just to kind of finish out this video, there are more colorways available. Originally, when I bought this, it was the Famicom and the NES versions, right? And I just like the design of this better. And I kind of regret buying it that early because they started releasing kind of new colors, like more retro computer themed colors, right? Which I really liked. And then they had another one where I think it was Commodore 64 color, which also had the super stick with it as well, right? For only $10 more. However, you can actually buy all these extra accessories on the 8BitDo website. So for a single super button, right, it's a yellow one, you can get it for $10, right? Green, red, blue are also all $10, right? You can also get a super ABXY thing. So it's like 4 keys, right, in like a plus pattern essentially, right? Let's say ABXY, that's $15. And they also have a white super stick, right, for $15, which is the joystick, right? So yeah, they have lots of cool different options and all that kind of stuff that you can add on. And they even have a new number pad, right, that they're about to start selling. And it's not out yet as at the time of recording, but it also is wireless, right? It's a number pad and a calculator built into one, right? And yeah, it looks super cool. I haven't had the chance to look at it yet. Has the same switches on this thing, has 18 keys, has a little display on it, right? It matches the keyboard perfectly, all right? So yeah, if that's something you're kind of interested in, you can go ahead and check that out. I'll link everything in the description below. But yeah, overall, it's been 6 months, and I really, really like this keyboard. I haven't seen any problems with this thing, right? Haven't anything fail, nothing like that, right? The packaging was nice, using it is amazing, right? So overall, if you're trying to get into keyboards and you want to look for something in the $100 range, this is a great option. However, if you're looking to modify the keyboard or use any custom firmware, that is simply not possible with this keyboard. There's no QMK, no VIA support, and to open it up, you have to take off the rubber feet and like unscrew, I think some security screws and all that kind of stuff, right? Which would end up damaging the product overall. So you can't really modify this whatsoever. But this is a really good mechanical keyboard if you just kind of buy one and just kind of forget about it, right? And the wireless is amazing, right? You don't have to charge it too often. So yeah, overall, that's my impressions on the 8BitDo Retro Mechanical Keyboard. I'm Joshua. I'll see you later. Bye.